TPR.
आइलैंड बैठे हैं उन्होंने किसी दीवार पे कालीन लगाई थी अब इस बारे में नहीं पता
Bro, culture तो
Culture? Ethnic?
fair enough
Bro, you know only why there's a brand called Ethnic now?
हाँ
Did they try at all? We're
Yeah.
ethnic in
Yeah.
Pakistan.
in Pakistan.
Why don't you just call yourself Pakistani then or whatever?
नहीं, but वो भी तो है ना, जैसे वो Rizwan keeps hating on these brands with no effort names like कपड़े. There's a brand called
Kapde shapde. Chai shai.
Yeah.
The best one was I used to go to a gym called The Gym.
In the Middle East, there's a big culture of दुकानें जिनका नाम है no name. Literally Arabic में भी लिखा होता है बिदून इसम, like no name. No name is the name. And वो हर टाइप की दुकान आपको मिलेगी उसमें.
in Canada we also have no name brands but they're like जो Walmart का अपना brand है आप Ritz के crackers ले लें या Walmart के crackers ले लें
Yeah.
वो वाला scene होता है generic
हाँ,
yeah.
generics. Nazar, can you zoom in on the lens that you have attached?
I cannot
Nahi,
prime
okay, do you not like
अच्छा.
to look at our opulence?
हाँ,
Look at
नहीं,
this.
क्योंकि काजी के
Look at this
बराबर
sofa. Are
में
you
you,
kidding
you
me
can
right
zoom
now?
in end में you can zoom in on your
हाँ,
you edit this
Luxury.
काजी के
Lap
बराबर
of
में there's
luxury
some
here.
sort of skeleton that's turned into a lamp और वो
It was a
मुझे
skeleton that was turned into a lamp.
yeah उधर
हाँ.
इसलिए मैं गिटार रखने का एक vibes आ जाती
vibes. अच्छा,
vibes
ये इतना हो गया, देख रहे हैं आप? 5 महीने हुए नहीं इसको.
आप
हाँ.
यकीन माने grew up born and bred in गुलदस्ता एक दफा भी नहीं किया अभी तक
yeah.
यार बहुत दूर है यार
जाने
Are
की जगह
we-
भी नहीं है.
Are we?
Relax,
हाँ.
relax.
Well, are we talking about why you're there?
No but
Okay.
I don't think we are talking about that
No, but we can what we can
family.
what we can
In-
talk about is कि अभी आपकी एनिवर्सरी हुई अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह
मैंने और इरफान भाई ने बहुत क्या पुरजोश अंदाज में
हाँ.
अंदाज में उसको मनाया गया.
मनाया गया.
Yeah.
डाइट का सत्यानाश किया, ट्रस्ट लिचिस केक खाया, बर्फी भी खाई.
Not just
हाँ.
one
Tres
leches,
leches.
tres.
Tres.
Yes.
एक
3
second,
leches.
let me move my internet connection also. मुझे कह रहा है कि your internet connection is shit.
You cannot defeat phase 8 okay phase 8 will
Not
defeat you you
हाँ, नहीं वो तो सीख रहे हैं आजकल, बहुत से लोग सीख रहे हैं कि फेज को नहीं डिफीट. Phases can't be defeated.
You know, a lot of people, and since I've now moved back to Karachi, alhamdulillah,
हाँ,
a lot of people will have things like this to say कि यार देखो आप जो है ना content creators this and podcasters that. Dude, you don't understand what it is like to operate in those
parameters
but no in these parameters in those industries, right? Because think about it, one of the first things that you can't do is take your equipment outside. You can't. One of the second things you can do, podcast का merit क्या होता है? Long form conversation, unscripted. करके दिखाओ unscripted यहाँ पे.
yeah.
It's just it's really frustrating.
नहीं तो गलत बात
I'm
है
sorry,
अगर आप नहीं करेंगे तो ऐसा
I don't
नहीं
know why this nerve was touched.
that's okay I think it's because he's back in the podcasting game soon so he's like यार फिर से वही
कल मुझे बता रहे थे कि आपने मेरी पॉडकास्ट टेबल देखी है.
काजी तुम
Yeah.
किधर शिफ्ट हुए हो? Have you moved in with Irfan या just in the मोहल्ला?
Yeah,
yes Kazi bhai has adopted Kazi bhai officially
basically.
Finally.
Kazi Junejo
हाँ,
That's
ठीक
some
है.
last names.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
हाइफन लगा देना ना बीच में जैसे करते हैं.
I feel
हाँ.
Kazi.
अच्छा,
KJ.
चलो.
लेकिन जो है yeah, so I've moved into Malir अभी, and the thing is यार living in Malaysia, living in Canada ना, उससे बहुत 19-20 है. The only difference, only 19-20 in terms of
अभी तो मेरा दिल नहीं चाहता.
हाँ, नहीं 19-20.
I can confirm it is not 19 or 20
No. Just listen to what I'm saying. 19-20 in the sense कि 19-20 as in you can walk on the streets.
Yeah.
19-20 as in वो वाली सारी सहूलियात more or less हैं, मुयस्सर हैं.
Yeah.
Here's what's interesting though. When you cut out all the security issues, na, you do come to terms with some of the more serious things like misogyny, like patriarchy, like the fact that it's not that अंदर जो है बहुत इन्फोर्स करते हैं कि देखें, डोंट मेक दिस अ बॉयज ओनली स्पेस, women need to be feel safe, families, वो family बोलते हैं, families need to feel safe, वो comfortably move करे, and still it's not that the men are doing anything, it's just how they're raised, it's just in their mind कि इसको औरत को यहाँ पे रोड पे तो नहीं होना चाहिए ना, यहाँ पे क्या कर रही है? Well, that's not your concern, sir, is what the Western generally the Western ethos is, कि that's not your problem, वो जो भी कर रही है वो अपने मुंह कर रही है. So when you take security and all out of it, na, because security is the most pressing concern कि यार कोई मार वार के नहीं चला जाए. But when that's taken out, then you realize कि it's endemic. These problems are not ये इतनी जल्दी नहीं जाने वाले.
I can also confirm कि Maliri Can की security and Canadian immigration is 19-20. But proper documents नहीं है, so you're not going in.
Too bad. Sucks to be you. Yeah, you're not going in, right?
Yeah.
And to that end, मतलब सही security ठीक है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, but उसके अलावा more or less हर चीज अंदर मिलती है, so you don't really feel the need to leave. ये कुछ चीजें हैं which are
starting
different.
your podcast again, which is I suppose breaking news perhaps, लेकिन वो जो तो guest होंगे या it's going to be just you two?
No, there's going to be guests.
तो फिर the guests will have to go
Inshallah.
through immigration.
यार हाँ पता है क्या अली भाई, वो होता है, करवा सकते हो आप. It's not even tedious, it's just a process. You can go through the process.
It's tedious.
Yeah,
tedious कुछ भी नहीं है, बस आपको नंबर बताना है अपना एंट्री पे.
People here have their CNIC numbers memorized.
Yeah.
That's a thing here. That's a skill I never needed.
Memorized,
yeah. Here's what's interesting about that. Privilege. Here's what's interesting about that. So पर वो जो है, one of the things about security सूरत हाल in Karachi is कि you're encouraged to not keep your originals because चोरी हो जाएंगे.
Yeah.
Right? But anywhere worth going, you need your originals.
Yeah.
Like, जैसे अभी हम क्रीक विस्टा में आए थे, needed our originals. But at the same time, you also told कि अच्छा नहीं, original नहीं carry करना क्योंकि वो हो जाएगा. So this
क्या हो जाएगा?
चोरी हो जाएगा.
चोरी हो जाएगा ना? क्या
आपने बताया नहीं ना, code words. कोड सोच के एकदम से मैंने कहा वो हो जाएगा.
वो हो जाएगा.
नजर के लिए वो बहुत कुछ होता है.
वो बहुत कुछ हो सकता है.
ये बात भी सही है. But it's this paradoxical nature ना that I find, I don't know if as I get older या पहले मैंने कभी there was no other way I had known to live.
Yeah.
But अब जो है ना, I'm getting frustrated.
Yeah.
By these things. कि यार ये क्या तरीका है? मतलब मैं बाहर निकलूंगा और मैं किसी को कुछ भी नहीं बोलूंगा और वो मुझे गोली मार के चला जाएगा. Yeah. That's pretty much what you grew up in.
Yeah. नहीं, अब जदीद टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ we're seeing that this is spreading to लाहौर वगैरह, तो दूसरे शहर में भी कल्चर जो है ना वो एक्सपोर्ट हो रहा है. तो I'm glad कि we're all being brought on the same page forcibly. और उनको भी तो पता चले ना जब वो बातें कर रहे होते हैं ना. I'm just kidding.
they really don't understand. But and the thing is, I never really understood because me and Irfan bhai went to a oh god
क्या हुआ?
Oh god, call आ रही है. काटो उसको भाई, हम पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हैं. सीरियस
माजरत
बात हो रही है.
पिंडी से कॉल आ रही है.
सारी नहीं ये बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट कॉल थी, इसको मैं जरा ये लो चलें.
हाँ, तो जो है me and Irfan bhai went to Lahore for a TikTok event.
Yeah.
Right? And since I've always only ever been in Karachi and Hyderabad, मतलब सिंध वाले area, तो I was always like Karachi Lahore के बीच में क्या? Karachi, obviously Karachi is the best, right?
Yeah.
Then I went to Lahore. I'm like, wait. We weren't even having the same conversation. You guys were talking about the fact that you have better roads.
Yeah.
It's more secure. There's, you can go out at night.
Yeah.
And we're over here talking about we have better food. What the what?
Yeah.
So uske baad I was just like, yeah, this is nonsense. It's not even a comparison. It's like apples to watermelons. Huh, bro.
I saw that you guys after you came
That's
back.
their argument.
Irfan and Kazi had put up like a story ऐसा कुछ, where Irfan was like, हाँ भाई Kazi भाई समझ आई आपको? हाँ भाई समझ आई. Perspective भी फर्क है.
It's not even वही वाली बात है ना. And this is an interesting allegory into how people talk in Pakistan generally. एक बंदा बात कर रहा है historical sense से, दूसरा बंदा बात कर रहा है pragmatic sense से. अच्छा, और दोनों बात करे जा रहे हैं.
बहुत अरसे बाद वैसे.
Are you not listening?
As you speak, मुझे एहसास हो रहा है यार, बड़े अरसे से ना ये वाले अल्फाज सुनने को नहीं मिले मुझे in the podcast space ना. Allegory और
podcast
pragmatic.
mode is slowly काजी अकबर podcast era is
मोटर स्टार्ट हो रही
You
है.
know who said that to me? You know who said that? I was making the short videos, na? My sister of all people said this to me. हालांकि मेरी उर्दू इतनी बुरी नहीं है, and especially the language I use in those reels. She's like, "Why are you dumbing yourself down?" I'm like, "I'm not dumbing myself down. What are you talking about?" She's like, "But this is not a word that you use." कोई मैं लफ्ज़ इस्तेमाल किया था. She's like, "This is not a word that you use. You know the word." She's schooling me. You know the word for this. The word for this is metacognition. And I'm like, "Oh, what?" पता नहीं यार.
सही है. तुम्हें दो एक अपने दिमाग में एक डिक्शनरी अलग रखनी होगी ना कि अच्छा हम पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हैं, हम ये वाली किताब खोलते हैं, इसमें से ये वाले वर्ड्स आएंगे.
अच्छा, I went on Kazi bhai's merch site and I was literally hoping just a word that had metacognition. Okay?
Let there be metacognition.
I was like,
यार merch is very.
That's a good idea, man.
It's a good idea, but मैं आपको बात बताऊं. I think the only person who's able to sell merch and make a decent amount with it is the gentleman on the left of the sofa. Most people can't.
भाई किधर है
नहीं है वो.
Scenes किधर है
That is
भाई?
not merch.
Sorry.
It's clothing apparel.
I apologize. I can call it whatever, and I still won't be able to sell as much. Is what I'm trying to say.
हाँ, लेकिन
क्योंकि
scenes
इस
है
दफा
किधर bro?
वो जो उन मालकिन है वो अभी कुछ कामों में बिजी हैं.
Okay.
तो और समर में यूजुअली इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं करता जितना विंटर्स में करता है. हुडीज सेल बेटर.
Right.
तो हमने सोचा है कि हम हुडीज ही इस दफा दोबारा निकालेंगे.
You're a winter brand.
What's interesting?
They're a winter brand, eh?
Winter
brand. No, but what's interesting? What's interesting? What's interesting? Not face. What's interesting is this, right? So this time I pulled out all the stops according to me. I got someone. I got Aisha to design the whole thing from the back, Karachi and Hyderabad and Toronto, and you know they're oversized shirts. They're comfortable. Nothing. I'm like, yeah, nahi. This is not the thing that I need to be doing.
No, I think it's because you don't plug it enough.
कहाँ plug करूँ?
I think it's because people don't care about you. They care about your content. और इसमें बहुत ही थिन लाइन होती है कि मतलब कल को अगर आप कोई लगाएंगे यार बस मैं नहीं बना रहा वीडियो,
they be like, okay,
हाँ मसला नहीं है, हाँ. But if once they connect with you, उसमें मतलब कुछ के बहुत ज्यादा कॉन्स भी होते हैं कि people start thinking कि they own you.
Yeah. Start calling you out of the blue.
हाँ.
Just to hear your voice.
हाँ. लेकिन उसके फिर फायदे भी होते हैं कि उनको लगता है कि हाँ यार.
अरे यार,
इसको
this reminds me, I want to read out a comment, a very lovely comment that I got on the last Irfan Junejo video. क्योंकि Irfan Junejo जब comment वो podcast पे आते हैं ना, तो he doesn't say a lot of like negative things because he's a nice guy. So I think what I do is I over bullshit in those episodes ना कि भाई ये तो कहेगा नहीं, तो मैं कर लेता हूँ इस तरह की बातें. एक आया था, I forget his name, but khair, with all due respect, don't call the names to public, Mr. Host, whatever your name is. This audience make these vloggers. Initially, they love it. They want it. They enjoy, all they is like DEY. They enjoy the fame and love. Later, they come in a podcast and say, I don't want this, I don't want that. Public बनाती है भाई तुम्हें. और रही बात पब्लिक को फ्री में कंटेंट मिलने की, तो भाई पब्लिक हट गई ना तो तुम्हें पैसे देने पड़ेंगे पब्लिक को. क्या हो भाई, प्लीज हमारा कंटेंट देखो.
हाँ, ये पब्लिक जो है टैक्सेस भरती नहीं है, बिजली के बिल भरती नहीं है.
I agree with the first part.
इंडिया से है, इंडिया से है ये कमेंट.
I agree with the first part.
Sorry for the comment. मैंने गलती से लिख दिया.
गलती से लिख दिया.
पहला वाला पार्ट ट्रू है.
What's the first part?
कि शुरू में आपको चाहिए होता है, you want it, you are willing to do anything for it. लेकिन उसके बाद आप फिर इतना अच्छा नहीं लगता.
Yeah. It's diminishing marginal utility, no? That's what it is. Yeah.
Cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
Cognitive dissonance.
खैर मैंने उससे कह दिया thanks for watching. But
thanks so much. नहीं पर पता है क्या? Before the last podcast I think we did, I was making short videos. वो इतनी नहीं हुई थी. Ever since then, na, a few of them did well. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And what he's talking about ना कि initially मैं उस initial वाले phase में हूँ ना, यार it becomes a part of your personality, dude. Like with me, na, it's just like यार अगर if the video is not doing well, but you're saying something good, that used to matter. all of a sudden it's like no. But say it in a way where they care about it.
Yeah.
And I've seen some other people on these events, right? जिनको आप प्यार से air quotes TikToker भी बोल लोगे वगैरह वगैरह. But it doesn't. That's not what it is. But they walk into a situation. Immediately, all they're doing is scoping out shots. यहाँ से भी shot बन सकता है. They're not even like it's nothing. It's dialed in, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like in this world where there's so much chaos, that's almost a better way to exist, you know, because they're dialed in and their mental health is fine. They're like chilling है कोई मसला नहीं.
But maybe their mindset is that they're working. This is a work
वो
thing.
मुझे ये बताओ लेकिन ठीक है, all of this is established. Social media content का ये सीन है कि you have to package it कि आवाम को देखे और आवाम क्लिक करे. अगर आवाम ने क्लिक नहीं किया तो आपकी वीडियो में बात कैसे जाएगी? But then चले आपने अपना content भी dumb down कर दिया ये वो. But what is the solution कि अगर Irfan wants to make a video of his choice, ठीक है, and get it to an audience, and Kazi wants to say something that is real and not dumb it down for traction, where does that go? उसका क्या वेन्यू है? नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है.
आप Patreon शुरू करते हो और
या फिर आप कल हम देख रहे थे ना MK PhD की वीडियो, आप Porsche की तरह की स्ट्रेटजी अपनाएं. Porsche wanted to make sports cars, लेकिन वो बिकती नहीं थी, तो उन्होंने देखा कि मार्केट को क्या चाहिए, उन्होंने एक क्रॉसओवर SUV बनाई और वो बिकी, and then
now they can fund more sports cars.
Money.
Yeah.
So what that would equivalent to in your context,
in my context,
with the food reels. Yeah, and then that sustains everything else because
yeah.
I mean
the food reels जब से आई हैं उसके बाद से
the kind of traction you've gotten
आई हैं.
Yeah, the kind of traction you've gotten recently ये मैंने पहले कभी नहीं सुने हैं ये वाले.
I think it's a 2 for them 1 for me type situation कि you make 2 जो.
But are you getting the 1 for you?
I mean, यार एक टाइम के, क्योंकि आई हैव बीन इन दिस सिचुएशन, एक टाइम के बाद ना आपको ये लगने लगता है, अनलेस कि आप बहुत ही पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट के हो, आपको ये लगने लगता है कि यार व्हाट्स इवन द पॉइंट. मैं क्यों करूं एफर्ट, करूं क्यों?
क्योंकि ब्लैक मिरर की
बनाओ
एक
जो लोगों को
एपिसोड थी
देखना
ना, आई डोंट नो ब्लैक मिरर कितना देखा है लोगों ने, आई हैवंट सीन ऑल ऑफ इट, बट उसमें एक एपिसोड थी वेयर पीपल वो रियलिटी शोज, कॉन्टेस्ट शोज के ऊपर बेस्ड था, अमेरिकन आइडल और इन सब की तरह ना. और उसमें something goes wrong, some guy has these aspirations and something goes wrong and he has like a full meltdown. वो किसी को murder करने वाला होता है on stage के पास, ये this is going to be my big statement और ये वो, and वो कर लेता है, and then there's silence and then people are like ये क्या real बात की है इसने, ये वो, उसको अपना शो दे दिया.
Wow.
And he just does that becomes his thing. And वो reality of the situation वो भी बस like you can't escape. तो what I'm thinking is social media हम तो खैर क्या, तुम लोग are on this and you're doing it and you know, but this has been something that you have mentioned, Kazi, now I'm hearing for the first time, because I guess the short video thing is a more recent thing than Irfan's career, but this is the first time that now you are also saying that you have been dumbing down your content ताकि अवाम को you feel कि अवाम अगर if you go like full Kazi तो किसी को समझ नहीं आनी. But so, are you missing out on things you want to say, and then those things that you want to say don't get out ever?
So I think what I'm trying to say, वो तो खैर my sister was also just giving me a scolding, but I think what I'm doing is I am trying to present a variation of my personality that will be palatable. I think that's the best way of putting it. कि ऐसी शक्ल दिखाओ जो उनको अच्छी लगे.
But what about the real you? Do you feel
dude, I feel like I feel like the only thing that real me does then in this context is cause pain, and so he needs to go away. Really because आप जो बोल रहे हो eventually नहीं तो what you become nihilistic, you're like यार मुझे तो ये नहीं करना है. कब तक आप सोचते रहोगे? Because वो जो चूल्हा है ना वो नहीं चलता है इन बातों से.
वही तो बात है,
रेंट पे जी
जिस पे अब्बा बैठ जाते हैं कभी कभार चूल्हे पे. नहीं बट
अब्बा भी बैठ जाते हैं कभी कभार.
इरफान्स लाइक फोटोग्राफी का जमाना नहीं है, इंस्टाग्राम पे फोटोग्राफी प्रायोरिटाइज नहीं हो रही, मैं तो फोटोग्राफी का बड़ा शौकीन हूँ, पीछे हो गई फोटोग्राफी. देन ही क्रिएट्स लाइक अ डिफरेंट प्रोफाइल ये वो.
Irfan.jpg.
इज इरफान कंसर्न्ड कि फोटोग्राफी की अप्रिसिएशन जिंदगी में से इरफान की ऑडियंस में कभी मिलेगी नहीं?
यार मुझे अली भाई ये लगता है कि मेरी लाइफ की जो मैंने बेस्ट पिक्चर्स खींची हैं वो उस टाइम पे खींची हैं when my account was stuck at 700,000 followers.
Sure.
और वो आगे पीछे हुआ ही नहीं.
Yeah.
अचानक से मैंने रमजान में रील्स बनाना शुरू की, immediately it jumped from 700 to 780.
Sure.
तो मुझे पता चल गया, अब मैं अपनी शक्ल की तस्वीरें भी डाल रहा हूँ, सेल्फी भी डाल रहा हूँ मेन प्रोफाइल पे, क्योंकि सही है, ग्रोथ हो रही है, सब कुछ हो रहा है। मैंने अपने लिए वो अलग प्रोफाइल बनाई है जस्ट सो मेरे उसमें ना आप कमेंट कर सकते हैं, कुछ ओपन नहीं है, बस मैं एक डॉक्यूमेंट करना चाहता हूँ कि आई एम टेकिंग पिक्चर्स, आई हैव अ प्लेस टू पोस्ट देम। और वहाँ पे फिर मुझे पहले दिन से ही ना मेरे दिमाग में ये चीज़ है कि कितने, मैं देखता भी नहीं हूँ कि कितने लाइक्स आए, कमेंट तो हैं ही नहीं, तो इट्स जस्ट सॉर्ट ऑफ एन आर्काइव।
क्योंकि the perspective I'm approaching this from is कि all three of you are some type of artist, ठीक है, and your output is artistic, but that output, because of social media की requirements for growth and reach, and that's the only thing we think of when we think of social media, वो art is just being pushed through this filter, and जो असल में maybe that you want to create, perhaps there is a risk कि वो तो आ ही नहीं रहा, because when you think of social media कि यहाँ मैं अपनी बेस्ट तस्वीर पोस्ट करूंगा, immediately उस पर एक फिल्टर आता है, अच्छा लेकिन क्या इस पे लाइक्स आएंगे, क्या लोग देखेंगे, will people care about, चलो मैं पोस्ट नहीं करता, and then maybe that art which was originally you gets lost.
Yeah, I made a conscious decision क्योंकि मैं भी मेरा when I started my Instagram account, my thing was I'm only going to post pictures that are shot from my DSLR. And about 6 to 8 months ago, I stopped that because a camera लेके निकलना is a hassle. Secondly, if I'm not doing pictures, my account is stagnant. And I started posting quote unquote dumps. Right. And these dumps are a very Gen Z thing. Yeah, proper. And I hate them. I genuinely am like, I don't like curating them, and इसमें से एक authentic भी होनी चाहिए और खाना क्या खाया, and then I also have to post a book that I read. Like there's a formula to it. But it gets clicks, it gets shares, people are interested, and उसकी वजह से they come onto my YouTube channel, and then my YouTube channel is growing, about to cross 1,000, about to get monetized. Like it's all correlated. And I have to do the first thing so that I can get them onto the second thing. That's how I look at it.
I think there's no harm in monetizing your passion, your hobby, लेकिन क्योंकि तो मतलब तुम्हारी अपनी जॉब है, लेकिन क्योंकि मैं पिछले 5-6 साल से सिर्फ यही कर रहा हूँ, दिस इज़ हाउ आई पे माई बिल्स, तो मुझे ये लगता है जो मैंने तरीका निकाला है ना, अगर इसको फुलफिलिंग बनाना है, वो ये है कि इट स्टेज मोनेटाइज्ड, आप इससे पैसे भी कमाएं, सब कुछ करें, बट यू डोंट डिपेंड ऑन इट टू पे योर बिल्स। मैंने जैसे वीडियो बनाई थी कुछ टाइम पहले, जब मैं अपना पुराना वाला घर छोड़ रहा था, कि दिस इज़ द लास्ट वीडियो इन द स्टूडियो, और मैं for the next 5 years I'll try my best कि YouTube becomes a hobby again, and I make something else my profession. अगर एक रैंडम दिन मेरा दिल चाहता है कि यार मैं 1 साल की ब्रेक ले रहा हूँ, तो एटलीस्ट मेरा लाइफस्टाइल सफ़र नहीं होगा, मेरे घर पे बिजली आती रहेगी, सब कुछ होता रहेगा, देन आई एम फ्री कि मैं इस ब्रांड के साथ काम करूँगा, इसके साथ नहीं करूँगा। अभी मुझे थोड़ी तकलीफ होती है बोलते हुए, लेकिन आई हैव सेड येस टू कैंपेन्स जहाँ मुझे लगा कि यार नहीं करना चाहिए था, लेकिन किया, और किसी सिचुएशन में इतना बुरा किया कि वो कैंपेन आई और 1 महीने बाद वो वीडियो हाइड कर दी। तो मतलब
नहीं, but I think this is another thing that is extremely overlooked in our muashra and in the way we bring up our kids ना। एक तो हम अपने बच्चे को तोड़ते हैं क्योंकि वो थे हमारे जो, हम सब अभी टेक्निकली मिलेनियल्स हैं, हमारे जो बड़े थे वो थे बेबी बूमर्स, राइट? हाँ, अनटैप्ड मार्केट्स, अनएक्सप्लोर्ड लैंड्स सब सैचुरेट हो गए, सब सैचुरेट हुआ है, एंड वही वाली बात है, दे एक्सपेक्ट अस कि भाई आप मेहनत कर लो, मेहनत से सब बेहतर हो जाएगा। ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट दे आल्सो डोंट एवर गिव यू एनी काइंड ऑफ प्रॉपर फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी। जो इरफान भाई चाह रहे हैं, या जो मैं चाह रहा हूँ, या जो नजर चाह रहा है, जो आप चाह रहे हो, इवन ये चीज कुड हैव बीन पॉसिबल, इट कैन बी डन कि आप देखो, अच्छा चलो ठीक है, whatever पहली बात, लेट्स नॉट टॉक इन रुपीस, but whatever dollar amount is required for you to become financially independent, it's going to be a huge amount, right? It's going to be $100,000, $500,000, ठीक है, but is at least put a number on it, so you know कि yeah, that's what you're working towards. And then second, figure out a way to kind of keep moving towards that while doing the thing that you want to do. It's not complicated, it's just difficult. You know?
It's also very interesting that Irfan bhai just said that, because my goal in the next 2 to 3 years is to move away from my day job and become a full-time YouTuber, influencer, book person on YouTube.
See, but that's already 3 things, right? You are a YouTuber, but you're also doing actual books. So
yes,
you still have like
but obviously it's not like paying my bills. Like my goal is that the day that my YouTube brands, whatever partnerships, whatever happens, that side of my life starts making the same amount of money that my day job is making, मैं छोड़ दूंगा day job.
तो मेरा इस पे आपको सवाल यही है, वो घूम फिर के आप काजी और मेरी सिचुएशन में आएंगे कि आपने सही है, आपने इंशाल्लाह इतने वो आप क्या पैसे बन रहे हैं यूट्यूब से और बुक ट्यूब से कि यू लीव योर जॉब. उसके बाद आपको पता चलेगा कि कुछ बुक्स ऐसी हैं जिनको रिव्यू करने पे यू डोंट लाइक रीडिंग देम, लेकिन वो व्यूज लेके आती हैं, और जो आपको रिव्यू करनी है उनको कोई देखना नहीं चाहता.
That's already happened, by the way.
हाँ,
It's already happened. Then I guess you muscle through it. For me, it's like I would rather read a book because this is something that is still my passion. I still like reading. घटिया से घटिया किताब से भी ना मैं कुछ सीख सकता हूँ, as opposed to keeping doing my day job, a career that is good for me but I don't want to stay in. That's my logic right now. But obviously you guys are like ahead of the game and you guys are on the other side, so the grass seems greener for me.
No, it's not greener. Yeah, देखो, the worst thing that's ever happened to you in the moment is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. I think we're just removed from the context of a day job now. Alhamdulillah. मेरे लिए तो अल्लाह का बहुत शुक्र है, because I was working in sales पहले, then I was working in marketing, and I really did. I was 120 kilos. I really didn't like myself. I really didn't like anything that was going on, and I was a bad person to be around. That's what that extreme of that is.
And I feel more closely related to that right now, because even though I'm in Pakistan and मैं उर्दू में बात करूंगा ताकि मुझे वो flag ना कर सके, मैं पाकिस्तान में हूँ, मेरी job on है, like, लेकिन मैं career time से काम करता हूँ, लेकिन वो जो 9 घंटे का जो ब्लॉक होता है ना, शाम 5:30 से लेकर रात 2 बजे तक, 8-9 घंटे का जो भी है, it kills my soul. ठीक है, I'd rather be shooting, I'd rather be going out, I'd rather be expressing myself creatively than doing that, even though it's paying the bills right now, and I'm very grateful, because if I didn't have that job, मेरे लग चुके होते.
Conversely,
let me give you lights on.
Let me give you even another further opinion to further confuse you.
थोड़ा जोर से बोलिएगा अपना अली भाई, your voice is a little bit soft.
Oh, really?
थोड़ा सा, yeah. It could be our end, पंखे on है, but थोड़ा जोर से बोलिएगा.
तो चलो, for example, I don't have the monetary aspects in the content creation side फिलहाल that you guys have. ठीक है, I have only done day jobs. 10 साल तक 9 साल तक मुझे नफरत थी अपनी जॉब से, but now I think about this thing कि my question भी, अच्छा मैं लॉटरी जीत गया, ठीक है, that's my equivalent to एकदम से हाँ जी मेरा content creation career takes off. Would I quit my day job? This job that I'm in now, without taking names, I wouldn't quit it because मैं खुश हूँ इसमें. And that came after 9 years. No guarantee कि it would have come for me. इत्तेफाकन it came after 9 years. And इस job में 6 महीने बाद जाके मुझे एहसास हुआ कि अच्छा, I don't hate my job. And this is a new feeling for me.
This is a completely alien feeling to me.
नहीं, but मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, so you need a couple of things for that, ना. A, you need your job to have a certain level of complexity. B, you need your job to have, for it to be meaningful. It needs to be meaningful for, and then there needs to be effort or reward के बीच में जो आपका, there needs to be a connection. Whatever connection it is, there needs to be a connection. Needs to be meaningful, and it needs to give you autonomy. Right. So the minute you start highlighting those things, na, with my work, because वो entry level था, and maybe I should have just pushed through it, right? Because वो entry level था, sales में भी, accounting में भी, और marketing में entry level. और and marketing तो किया मैंने पाकिस्तान में, I was getting paid good, alhamdulillah. लेकिन it's really, मतलब बहुत, it's a difficult hard thing. It's a difficult nut to crack. But if I had been given the autonomy, and if it was sufficiently complex, अब देखो ये जो बात है ना, ये किसी और तरीके से बोल दो. No, that's not really complex, right? उसके लिए now, especially now, though, there's AI for that, right? लेकिन even back then, what are you gonna, you're gonna thesaurus खोलोगे? No, it needs to challenge you. तो आपका काम भी 2 years, because of the field that you're in, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, it might become complex in a way where you're like, yeah, this is challenging, but in a good way. Yeah, and I want to stick around.
The thing is, my internal struggles are such that, like Allah ka shukr, I do have a good job, and it is sustaining myself. Like it's put my family and us in a place where, like, my dad is now retired completely, he's at home and chilled and everything.
Good.
And there should be a part of me that should be like overjoyed. Ke yaar, this is the struggle. This is like the Canadian American dream that my dad fought for all these years, right? Took us 10 years, but we're finally here.
Alhamdulillah.
But there's a part of me that's like unfulfilled. I'm like, I'm here, but this isn't really what I wanted. I want this other thing. And abhi mujhe dar ye hai ke once I get this other thing, because like abhi things are starting to blow up and it's a little bit interesting now. Okay, like things are moving in a direction, and I'm like, what if I get there and like the grass is greener wala scene, like yaar nahi ye to wo nahi tha jo main samajh raha tha.
Because
ye hoga, I'm pretty sure.
like it happened with the Vlog Brothers. They
Yes.
started off with artistic ventures, फिर वो इतने बड़े अच्छे चली company खोल लेते हैं. And now again you have that same structure where you know, Hank Green is like the CEO, and you know, he has to take meetings and he has to take calls. Like Irfan Junejo got famous, or Irfan Junejo say is like, you know, I don't know if you ever did like a office job, but eventually there was an aspect कि भाई call aa rahi hai, now you have to find someone else to do it because there's so many of calls coming in because now you're famous and you've made it कि अब ये कौन संभाले. तो office वाला aspect might come back later, and also you're only thinking about yourself in the moment you're in. तुम्हें नहीं पता अगले साल तुम कैसे होगे, 2 साल बाद कैसे होगे, हालात कैसे होंगे, you know. So there's also that to consider. But good that your dad was like, that's a big thing.
That's huge.
आप लोगों की बात सुनने के बाद एक चीज आई वांट से कि मतलब मैं हर जो भी मैं बात करता हूँ in the grand scheme of things they are minor inconveniences.
Sure.
ये creative freedom नहीं मिल रही, अच्छा नहीं. अगर आप उसको थोड़ा broader context में देखें तो जितना पाकिस्तान में जितनी इन्फ्लेशन और उसके बावजूद भी एफर्ट टू मॉनेटरी वैल्यू जो मुझे मिलती है, सही है मैंने मेहनत की है सब कुछ है, लेकिन वो उसका मैं बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ. और एनी डे आई वुड पिक दिस ओवर अ डे जॉब या किसी ऑफिस में रोजाना सुबह 9 बजे तैयार टाई वाई लगा के पहुंचने में. इन अ मिलियन ईयर्स मैं इसको मतलब ये मैं नहीं देना चाह रहा इम्प्रेशन के कोई बहुत माइनर इनकन्वीनियंस है. और ये स्पेशली मुझे उस दिन रियलाइज हुआ था जिस दिन बाबू के जो बेटा है उसका एक्सीडेंट हुआ था. उसको चोट लग गई थी. तो हम उसको उसने बुलाया अपनी बीवी को और बच्चे को गांव से. वो आए इधर और डायरेक्ट गए सिविल हॉस्पिटल. मैं भी घर से पहुंचा सिविल हॉस्पिटल, और सिविल हॉस्पिटल में मैंने पहली दफ़ा सिविल हॉस्पिटल नहीं जिन्ना हॉस्पिटल मैंने पहली दफ़ा देखा कि गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल, तो प्रिविलेज की बात, गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में एक सिंपल सीटी स्कैन कराने में हमें जो इधर से उधर जो हुआ है, मैं उसी वक्त मैंने ये सोच लिया कि भाई हम यहाँ से किसी प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल जा रहे हैं अभी. उसी 5 मिनट में एक मेरा दो जानने वाला मिल गया, वो सामने ही काम करता है. उसने अगले 10 मिनट में सब सीटी स्कैन करवा के हर चीज़ करवा के हाथ में दे दी, कोई पैसे नहीं लगे. तो उस दिन मुझे समझ में आया कि यार जो ये फेम के साथ मुझे जो फ़ायदे मिलते हैं वर्सेस छोटे मोटे जो इनकन्वीनियंस होती है, किसी ने थोड़ा हेट कर दिया, किसी ने ये कर दिया वो कर दिया, ये कुछ उस दिन के बाद से आई हैव बिकम वेरी ग्रेटफुल कि यार चलो कल को तुम्हें कोई बोलता है कि यार छोड़ो तुम ये यूट्यूब, द अमाउंट ऑफ मनी यू आर मेकिंग राइट नाउ, तुम्हें उतने ही पैसे मिलेंगे, सुबह आओ रोजाना 9 बजे काम करो घर जाओ. मैं नहीं करूँगा. इस तरह की चीज़ें छोटी, मतलब देर आर मोमेंट्स, ईमेल आता है कभी, कोई कमेंट आता है ऐसा कि आपको कभी कभी लगता है कि यार हाँ मे बी ऑल ऑफ दिस वाज वर्थ इट.
Well, I think that's autonomy, na? The autonomy you have, mashallah, is such great autonomy here. You're like, why would I even आपको ज़्यादा पैसे मिल जाए, double मिल जाते. At you know what's the figure, triple मिल जाते. But I think one of the other things that you've highlighted is very interesting कि आपका जो privilege होता है ना, essentially this is how privilege works. Privilege is essentially insulation from real life. जितनी आप insulated हो जाओगे उतना आपका ज़्यादा privilege होगा. There are people in Karachi right now. There are people right outside our door, right outside this window. There are people who don't know what's what. कोई मसला ही नहीं है. मतलब इतना भी मसला नहीं है कि उनको ये पता हो कि पेट्रोल की प्राइस क्या है. हाँ, इतना भी मसला नहीं है कि आप जब उनको बोलो ना, and the thing is, this is a new paradigm that I'm exploring for the first time, because my father worked really hard, but I was one of those people of privilege, right? Alhamdulillah. So for the first time, I'm exploring these paradigms where Abhi Irfan was like, where do you want to go out to eat? And one of the paradigms that I'm exploring now is ki, safety, you know, because that was never a thing. Cars, you know, bulletproof cars.
काजी भाई, मैं यहाँ पे मेरे लिए भी ये बड़ी मुझे रियलाइजेशन हुई है इसी पॉडकास्ट में कि जब आपकी बेसिक नीड्स मीट हो जाती है ना, अगर अभी मुझे बिल पे करने में मसला होता है, यार मेरी शादी है, जिम्मेदारी है, ये वो, तो मैं बोलता भाई मुझसे जो बनवाना है बनवाओ, मैं डांस भी करूंगा, मैं हर चीज करूंगा, मैं डेली व्लॉग करूंगा, मैं प्रैंक्स करूंगा, मैं हर चीज करूंगा. आई हैव टू पे द बिल्स. एक दफा जब वो चीज पूरी हो जाती है ना, तो फिर आपके ये भरे पेट के शौक आते हैं, यार मैं क्रिएटिव आर्टिस्ट मेरे आर्टिस्ट
Sure,
मेरे अंदर
sure,
यार क्या वो
right,
जिंदा है
right.
क्या मैं फोटोग्राफी करना चाहता हूँ
Sure, sure. But that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. तो वो जो लोग होते हैं ना, एक तरीके से I feel like they never develop these muscles. ये जो muscles होते हैं ना,
No.
children of privilege
Yeah.
never develop the muscle
Yeah.
of यार, what do I want to do? And
Yeah.
you know, how much am I willing to struggle for it? What the fuck is struggle even, you know?
Yeah.
Because and I'm not saying, see, this is difficult for them also. उनकी जिंदगी इतनी आसानी होती जितना हमें लगती है, because they're also in that cage.
Yeah.
You know, think about this. जिस तरीके से पाकिस्तान की हिस्ट्री है, there's people that have been elite of the elite, and over a few years they've lost everything. तो मैं कभी कभी सोचता हूँ कि ये लोग करेंगे क्या, you know, if something खुदा ना खास्ता like that were to happen, and that must be a very unsettling feeling as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because
yeah.
And the disparity between, like he was talking about the privileged and the unprivileged, we were talking about this जब हम लोग last year आए थे 2022 Jan में आए थे Ali bhai, we were talking about this, that it's crazy, and every time that I've come, this is my third visit since then, it keeps getting wider and wider and wider, and I am just like very shocked. I actually hosted someone idhar hi for a podcast, and he was coming Gulshan side. He's this new and upcoming vlogger, cricketer vlogger, whatever.
Sure.
And I didn't even take into account कि वो गुलशन से आ रहा है करीम लेके, 1,000 रुपए की करीम होगी, ठीक है, वापस जाएगा 1,000 रुपए की करीम लेके, and I was just like, हाँ आ जाओ, and he was like, yeah, मैं आपको बताता हूँ, and like we obviously were like going back and forth, and I was like, ये in my head I was like, ये मुझे नखरे क्यों करा रहा है यार, आ जाए, simple सी बात है. And after he came and we had a conversation, and then I was like, यार खाने पे चलते हैं, and he was like, yeah, Nazar, like he basically was like telling me कि I'm a bit short of change right now, so how about we do it next time? And then it hit me, I was like, oh, my privilege is so much more, like I don't even think about it, A, because I earn in CAD, तो मेरा तो credit card swipe चल रहा है इधर दबा के. Secondly, this is a guy who's trying to make it up, right? His entire life has changed ever since he started this YouTube thing. So sponsorships मिल रही, he's just starting to make it, and like his life, once we started talking about it, single parent child, you know, lives in a very like not an underprivileged but a very middle class, lower middle class, if there ever is in Karachi, agar exist bhi karti hai, lives in that type of neighborhood. He's trying to get his family out of that hole, and this avenue is helping him do that. It's helping him jump classes. And I was just like, man, the power of this utility that we have, we do take it for granted.
No, absolutely. I think the disparity तो इतनी शदीद है कि आप ऐसे देखो ना, you're starting an MBA की starting salary is around 30,000 rupees, right? एक आपको सबसे lowest रंग का AC, मैं सिर्फ बात कर रहा हूँ, what do you need? इतनी गर्मी है, AC 1,50,000 रुपए. मोटरसाइकिल नॉर्मल CD70 70-80 हजार रुपए की, CD70 70-80 हजार रुपए की. आपकी जो सिविक है वो 50-60 लाख रुपए की होगी, ज्यादा हो गई उससे, 1 करोड़ रुपए की हो गई है.
करोड़ की हो गई सिविक?
हाँ, करोड़ की हो गई है, राइट? सो व्हाट एंड उसके दूसरे एंड पे आप देखो, एनी न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी इज नॉट बीइंग एम्ब्रेस्ड, राइट? सो जो आपने मिडिल क्लास की बात की ना, इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, बट आई फील लाइक पाकिस्तान में ना, अल्लाह मुझे माफ करे, मैं थोड़ी शदीद बात बोल रहा हूँ, you could be poor. Poor people have communities, right? And so they kind of band together. Or you could be elite, and elite people have communities. जो एक दूसरे के गले पे पड़े हुए हैं, and they're constantly in this famine mentality, are middle class people who are constantly, you know, trying to claw their way up. And there's no,
and they keep getting pushed down.
And there's no apparatus here, man. Because
push down or pull down.
दोनों. Pull down mostly. Because आप ऐसे देखो ना, you could be earning whatever, and there's at least a prospect of you owning a home at some point in your life. बाहर.
Yes, 100%.
And देखो, हाँ, and I am one of the first people to say कि वहाँ पे everything is in rainbows there. Everything is in rainbows in North America, Europe, anywhere, right? लेकिन यहाँ पे अब आप सोच भी नहीं सकते,
कोई मुकाबला नहीं है,
you know,
there is no मुकाबला.
आप तस्वर भी नहीं कर सकते हो कि आप मिडिल क्लास के एक बंदे हो, आप जॉब करते हो बैंक में या कहीं पे अच्छी जगह पे जॉब करते हो, और आप किसी दिन DHA में या किसी ऐसी अच्छी जगह पे घर ले लोगे. It's inconceivable.
I get my shoulder physiotherapy done, and मेरा जो physiotherapist है, I have a rotator cuff injury. तो
गरीबों को जब होती है ना, तो they just go to work.
हाँ,
मुझे वही शोल्डर इंजरी मैंने जिम में लटक के सही की.
देखो यार, इतना प्रिविलेज बनता मैंने
भाई, मैं बता रहा हूँ, देखो मेरी बात सुनो, मैं आपको बताता हूँ कहानी. We're sitting at one of the best restaurants in Istanbul, right? Just Istanbul, in one of the best streets, storied street.
Yeah.
And He's eating one of the best wraps in the world.
Yeah.
As credited by Anthony Bourdain, one of the best wraps in the world.
Rest in peace.
Right?
Tony
वहाँ
bhai.
पे एक बिल्ली आती है. Now this is a street billy, but she is perfectly just groomed and everything. Irfan bhai, in his wisdom, wants to give it a piece of chicken. It's a cat, right?
Yeah.
So it lunges up at him. Irfan bhai pulls back his hand, dislocates his shoulder. Right? Okay, सही है ना? अभी तक सब privilege वाली बात लग रही है ना? This is how you know someone's actually about the life.
Yeah.
You know what he does?
Yeah.
Doesn't drop anything. हाथ में चीजें थी, कुछ नहीं गिराया. काजी भाई कैमरा पकड़े. I'm freaking out. I'm like, क्या हो गया? काजी भाई कैमरा पकड़े. अच्छा, कैमरा मैंने पकड़ा. Pops his shoulder back in with his other hand.
Right? Yeah.
About that life. He just goes crack, and then he goes, chicken गिर गई. I'm like, what?
चलो, we established once again Nazar is a weakling. खैर, तुम्हारी स्टोरी कुछ बता रहे थे तुम, फिजियोथेरेपी.
Please, sorry. अल्लाह रे करे.
नजर की आवाज नहीं आ रही.
There we go. You know who can't lift his arm? Irfan bhai. You know why? Because he doesn't need to.
Nazar, your mic is dead.
Sorry, my bad. I close it when I'm not talking, like a sure naib. But yeah, I just want the people at home to know कि मेरा हाथ अब उठ रहा है.
Oh, nice.
And I'm good.
या तो फुल ऊपर लेके जाओ या बिल्कुल नीचे. बीच में ना रोकना. बीच में हाथ रोक लिया तो मसला हो जाएगा.
Yeah, ये screen grab हो गया ना तो मसला हो जाएगा.
ये
thumbnail तो cancel हो जाएंगे. मेरी तो credit start नहीं हुई अभी तक. हम तो बच जाएंगे. No, but what I was saying was, I was talking to him and I was asking him, because he's in his like late 30s, he has a family and everything. So ऐसी बातों में he was telling me, he was asking me, यार मैं अपना खत कितने का बना, like my beard कितने की बनती है? The physiotherapy guy, Irfan guy, shout out. And I was like, यार ये मैंने I think 3,000 रुपए की बनाई है बाल के साथ. So that was his reaction.
That's
okay, but you have to understand, in my head, 3,000 रुपए is $11.70.
$11 में कोई हेयर कट नहीं करता आपका वहाँ पे.
Sure.
$50 में करता हूँ कनाडा में. Not to sound elitist, this is the rate. 35 to 40 is the rate.
Yeah.
Ship नहीं दोगे क्या?
What's interesting though, आप कभी भी ऐसे करो ना कि ये बहुत ज्यादा है. The person giving you the service. This is the other thing. This is how they respect the serviceman. Na? The person giving, the barber is the one who's supposed to take offense. यार तुम पागल वागल $40 भी नहीं देगा.
हाँ, exactly.
क्योंकि the barbers are also not rich.
No, they're not rich.
They're normal.
They're not rich at all.
वो नौकरी भी नहीं है तो उनका बैड सीन हो जाएगा. वो €40 लेके वो अब मेंशन में नहीं रह रहे.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I told him this and he was immediately shocked, like पागल हो गए मेरे, देखो मैंने 800 रुपए की बनवाई है. मैंने कहा चलो good है. फिर we came to talking about economics and I was like, यार आप अपनी current pay पे घर ले सकते हैं यहाँ पे? तो हंसने लग गया. like नजर भाई मैं सोच भी नहीं सकता हूँ और ना ही मैं सोचता हूँ इस तरीके के ख्वाबों के बारे में. Maybe down the line I'll get a good car. ठीक है, maybe I'll save up some money, take my wife to Umrah or stuff like that. But घर किसके पास है 2 करोड़ रुपए?
2 करोड़ में कौन सा घर आता है? 2 करोड़ में
2 करोड़ में घर आता भी नहीं.
Yeah, it's not even
like आ जाता है गुलशन नाज़ाबाद एरिया.
जौहर में अपार्टमेंट आ जाए शायद.
Exactly, yeah. Something that you can own, have it be his. He's not even thinking about it. He has 2 kids. He wants to put them through good schools. He wants to जितना पैसा side पे save हो गया, make a religious pilgrimage. That's all he's thinking about. That's his life.
Yeah. And it gets wild when you think about all the privilege that you have is a direct result of just the house you were born in.
That's it, man.
Which is, and तो तुमने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं ना, to be like several rungs above.
अच्छा, here's what's interesting है भाई. यहाँ पे बड़ा आदमी बनने के नहीं आप लाओ बोले अपने लिए अगर आपको चाहिए तो. Here's what's interesting about becoming a bada aadmi in Pakistan. You just need an X amount of dollars or rupees or whatever, right? Here's what's interesting about the real estate boom. There's people right now that will claim to be experts in everything. You know what their claim to bada aadmi ship is? 15 साल पहले उन्होंने एक घर खरीदा. वो घर उस वक्त था 1-2 करोड़ रुपए का, 3 करोड़ रुपए का. इत्तफाकन प्राइसेस इस तरीके से बढ़ी कि वो घर अब 20 करोड़ रुपए का है और ये पर्सन एक्स जो है अब बड़ा आदमी बन गए. लाइक व्हाट?
मैं आपको एक मीरपुर खास में एक प्लॉट था जो मेरे एक जानने वाले ने खरीदा था 93 में या 95 में 25 लाख रुपए का.
या ओके,
उसकी कीमत है आज 23 करोड़ रुपए.
बस अब वो बड़ा आदमी, आप उससे तमीज से बात किया करो. इस तरीके से बात नहीं कर सकते आप उनसे. फॉर व्हाट? फॉर मेकिंग इट. यू could never have predicted
like
कि
a
ये इस तरीके से होगा.
1000% increase.
That's what I'm saying, no? That's what I'm saying. And the thing is, instead of just, the good old-fashioned ethic of working hard and doing something you love and having meaningful work, अब आप जो है क्या कर रहे हो? You have everyone just sitting down being like, यार अगर मैं ये खरीद लूँ अभी 2 करोड़ डाउन करके 2 करोड़ दे के खरीद लूँ ये, तो इसकी प्राइस कितनी बढ़ेगी? यार तुम उस पे रहने जा रहे हो, तुम क्या करने जा रहे हो उसको? But that's just how people think. Because वही जो नजर ने अभी भी बोला कि इसके अलावा कोई तस्वुर नहीं है. Of moving upwards in your having economic and social mobility like that. There's nothing. So this is it. Your resort, your everyone wants to be everyone wants to be Irfan Junejo. They don't want to put the work in, but they don't even care about the work. They don't even care about what he does. They're just like, yeah, he looks like he's rich. I want to look like I'm rich.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not complicated.
75 years of being a poor country and policies that move money upwards. उसका नतीजा तो यही होगा ना कि अवाम इज लाइक शॉर्टकट के अलावा तो कोई तरीका तो है नहीं, क्योंकि हमने देख लिया इतने सारे लोगों को सही से मेहनत करते हुए डूइंग द राइट थिंग एंड कुछ नहीं हुआ, एंड हालात just got worse and they didn't get nowhere and now we're lower than when we started. तो शॉर्टकट ही कर लो.
Sure. And speaking of, you said artists, there are so many stories. You must have heard of them as well. Heartbreaking stories. Premium artists that matlab, if they just had a YouTube channel, if they just had a Spotify, right, or whatever, they would have been huge, but they died in a jhopadi somewhere, dude. Like singers that could have been like technically proficient, they looked good, right? Everything they had down except PR nahi thi, and
what do you know?
यार ये मेरी यार पिलो हटा दिया बीच में. Speaking of privilege.
Sorry. Yeah, Ali bhai, I don't know. I just walked back into the conversation, but I will speak behalf of the group that we genuinely were missing you. It would have been so much fun if you were in person. इनके अलावा we were. काजी भाई?
मैंने क्या बोला?
आपने बोला no. अभी no नहीं. अच्छा चलो, we'll include him back. Like genuinely we were like, यार, there's a person missing.
Yeah.
मुझे तो feel हुआ बहुत ज़्यादा. I was like, चलो.
क्योंकि मैं और इरफान भाई नहीं तो जो है बजाते हैं ना, तो फिर अली भाई जब होते डिसिपेट हो जाता है थोड़ा सा. अली भाई बोलते नहीं यार नहीं
अली भाई स्टार्ट करते हैं and then Ali bhai starts it and then after 5 minutes feels bad.
नहीं exactly. I think he keeps it kosher though. With me and Irfan bhai it just keeps going. रात को घर पहुंच के. और नजर एक और बात सुन.
Nazar, what are you drinking? Is that also Coke?
Sting.
I was wondering, bro, तुम Sting boy तो नहीं बन गए तुम पाकिस्तान वापस आके?
शदीद Sting boy.
Vibes हैं अली भाई, vibes.
I've never Sting.
I've never had Sting. Sting पाकिस्तान में आई, मैंने पाकिस्तान ही छोड़ दिया इत्तेफाकन. And when I was not there, Sting
I was
thing.
For one of my marketing classes, I was doing a thing on Sting, like a profile or whatever.
Yeah.
And it is banned by the FDA in North America because there are some substances that are not like बहुत ज़्यादा calorie intake है और बहुत ज़्यादा caffeine intake है इसमें.
तो पागल हो क्यों पी रहे हो?
नहीं वहाँ पे.
So this coming from someone who drinks.
And now वहाँ पे जो है Sting अब available हो गई देसी markets में under the table.
No.
वो साले 4 लोको बेच रहे हैं और 5 hour energy बेच रहे हैं. Sting से मसला है उनको.
आप सोचो ना. नहीं यार, I don't know. I never knew this. I always thought Sting was Redbull से भी कम.
You cannot find Sting in any of the desi stores.
Zara go through the ingredients. अभी हाथ में है तुम्हारे.
Ingredients. I don't believe this, by the way. It says it only has 150 calories in this. No way.
नहीं वो तो ठीक है. बाकी क्या है? क्योंकि जोशांदा पाकिस्तान में जो मिलता है बाहर की formulation is different.
उसमें सब steroids होते हैं कुछ.
क्योंकि हाँ, it has ephedrine वगैरह. Basically it has speed is the drug. वो पाकिस्तान में वो होता है. Which is why you immediately
200 milligrams of caffeine, by the way, in this.
क्या होता है? जोशांदा नहीं पीना चाहिए.
जोशांदा जो यहाँ पे फॉर्मुलेशन होती है, उसमें एक ड्रग होता है, उसका नाम है स्पीड. और वो बाहर इस तरीके से नहीं मिलता है.
नहीं तो स्पीड करता क्या है?
It basically
it कर देता है.
It brings up your, I don't know the science of it. मतलब it's sort of like cocaine but blunted. तो that's why जोशांदा पीने के बाद you फौरन से feel better. And
you're not supposed to.
Yeah, it's like जो immediate effect है ना.
लो एनर्जी लगता हूँ.
हाँ. जोशांदा नहीं पी रहे हो आप.
जोशांदा से ठीक हो जाएगा.
इसके बाद स्टोरी आएगी ब्रांडेड. अभी इसी के बाद.
जोशांदा
के साथ.
Yeah. मैं ऐड में देखता था लोग चाय में जोशांदा डालते हैं.
टीएम से मंगवाते हैं.
मैंने बहुत दफा, मुझे पता ही नहीं था.
Yeah.
हम
what's it called? Ali bhai, वैसे पता है क्या? Speaking of marketing and energy drinks, it's very interesting. In Europe में because they have a lack of sunlight ना, तो Red Bull तो नहीं, पर energy drinks का बड़ा market है, और वो market saturated थी. Red Bull ने क्या किया? This is documented, by the way. What Red Bull did was, Red Bull's like, all right, so we're gonna hack the mindset of people. This is proper inception stuff, right? So what they do is, they're like, हाँ जो भी stores है जिनमें भी Red Bull रखवानी है, रखवाओ नहीं रखवाओ मसला नहीं है, जहाँ पे भी energy drinks available है ना, उसके बाहर जो trash cans है ना, उनको भर दो Red Bull के खाली cans से.
Right.
And it worked. And
Right.
you know it worked, right?
Right.
I mean, Red Bull's bigger than ये, मतलब इतनी सारी और energy drinks है, मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाह रहा हूँ, but Red Bull just beat all of them, like, hands down. And I was just like,
the other energy drinks don't have F1 teams. मतलब ये पहुंच है ना, मतलब that's how big Red Bull.
But like Red Bull has that F1 money though.
वही तो.
No.
वही तो.
That's why.
No.
They can't sponsor their teams.
मतलब Monster has UFC now.
हाँ, but वो UFC का वो prestige इतना तो नहीं है ना. अब देखो वो भी तो आ रहे हैं, क्या नाम है? Prime.
Prime
भी तो आ रहा है.
Prime is good.
अच्छा, you
I've
tried
got
it?
Prime.
Have you had it?
Yeah, it's actually really good. Prime is a good drink, and it's not an energy drink, and it has, I think, 20 cals in the whole bottle. पता नहीं क्या डाल रहा है उसमें वो.
तो फिर मतलब कुछ shady है ना?
Yeah.
नहीं, coconut water and पानी और ऐसा कोई सीन है.
अच्छा, Monster इतनी बड़ी 0 कैलोरी की शेडी नहीं लगती.
मैंने ये बोला कि मैं सही काम कर रहा हूँ. मैंने सिर्फ बोला कि
आप अभी कैन देख लेते ना मॉन्स्टर के, जो नीचे फेंक के आए हैं.
Yeah.
ये खुद मॉन्स्टर का डब्बा बना रहे ट्रैश कैन.
यार देखो, if Monster is watching this, come on guys, come on.
Yeah.
What do I have to do?
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, सही बात है. I tried the original Red Bull जब मैं थाईलैंड गया था, which is where it's from. वो उसका टेस्ट थोड़ा फर्क है. Yeah, they sell it in glass bottles and थोड़ा लोगो शोको फर्क है.
Is it stronger?
I remember it being perhaps less sweet than the international Red Bull. हाँ, मगर वो शीशे की बोतल में मिलती है, और वो वही बुल लोगो is there, but बाकी टेक्स्ट is different. तो
वो नीचे मिल रही है. हाँ, नीचे मिल रही
बॉटल में.
है. हाँ, नीचे मिल रही है.
We should do that as well. जोशांदा के साथ स्पीड देखते हैं क्या होती है.
अच्छा, एक सेकंड. नजर यार, स्पाइडरमैन सर, मतलब
Oh my god. They told me not to talk about it because they want to watch it.
Oh my god. अच्छा, हाँ भाई, फौरन देख लो, मतलब फौरन.
ASAP.
Very good. Very good.
मतलब यार, अच्छा ऐसा करो, देखने से पहले कब देख रहे हो? Do you have a date in mind, you guys?
Trying.
शायद आज रात देख लें.
अच्छा, I don't know if you have time, but if you have time ना, तो जरा कॉरिडोर क्रू की वीडियोस देखो on the first Spider-Man, जिसमें बात करते हैं एनिमेशन के बारे में, और how the animation changes according to the story and the situation, और ये वो, so that when you go in, तो इस वाली एनिमेशन तुम्हारी ब्लास्ट हो जाएगी ना, कि इसमें तो वो पागल
ना जो फ्रेम रेट चेंज होता है.
There is one character that is on a completely different frame rate. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's insane because एक proper like 24 पे.
जब मैं पहली बार स्पाइडरमैन की बात कर रहा हूँ, जो स्पाइडरमैन होता है गोरा वाला, वो अलग फ्रेम रेट पे होता है.
Yep.
वो फ्लूइड है ज्यादा.
Yeah.
क्यों ज्यादा फ्लूइड है?
Because he's like
and they also showed, exactly, they also showed कि Miles जैसे जैसे बड़ा हो रहा है in that movie, उसकी frame rate बढ़ती जा रही है, and at the end he's fluid as well.
अच्छा, इसमें
genuine storytelling यार. मजा आ गया.
ओहारा होते हैं ना, क्या नाम होता है उनका? Spider-Man 2099.
Miguel O'Hara.
He's in this.
That guy's gonna be
insane.
epic. He needs to be epic.
Insane. और उसकी भी एनिमेशन बहुत क्रेजी है. And there's some people, अच्छा, I can't, थोड़ा सा
don't name names.
Art spoiler दे दूं? Art spoiler थोड़ा सा. I mean, you can say no.
क्या है?
There are some
No, say it.
जिनकी environmental, कुछ अलग-अलग characters होते हैं, उन सबकी अलग-अलग story चल रही होती है. Some of the characters, उनकी पूरी surrounding animation changes based on उस character का उस वक्त जो emotion convey करना चाह रहे होते हैं वो.
Yes, I noticed that.
Bro, that
it's
is so
insane.
crazy. That is so crazy. मतलब वो before they say something, या before their expression changes, वो animation change हो जाती है, and then you understand what that character is like feeling at that point.
Yeah.
Or
it's like visual storytelling to the best. I've never seen something like this.
To the max.
So I think it's safe to say that the people that made that, they're not worried about their currency depreciating. I mean, they're relaxed. They're just chilling.
उनकी currency तो हमें नीचे रखती है ना.
They're just like, ठीक है, chilling है, काम करते हैं.
Across the Gurbat verse.
Also, I
across the
think
Gurbat.
perhaps the best Desi representation I've seen script-wise
In a
very
yes,
long
in a
time.
very, very long time. 100%. No spoilers again. I agree
No
with you. Desi representation is great. And the guy who is
Yeah.
I will talk about it बाद में. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah. उसका जो एक one
मैं
bit of
down.
dialogue
I will rewatch it.
Yeah, I'm going to rewatch it also.
Well, actually, हमारे साथ scene हो गया. We Simran and I were supposed to go see the movie at 7:15, and it's like literally right in front of our house, and we were 20 minutes late. Somehow. Duplex पे. So we had the tickets. So मैंने कहा मैं 20 मिनट बाद तो movie देख रहा हूँ. And you know the first 10 minutes are so important in that movie. So we skipped it. We bought the रात की tickets. So just as I was coming down the escalator, I had 2 tickets. The movie had started like 12 minutes ago. So I gave it to these kids who were right about to buy those tickets. They freaked out. They were like, "Oh my god, usko roko."
That's
so
nice.
they went and they saw it.
That's wholesome, yeah. That's nice.
Creek Vista का Mr. Beast घूम रहा है. अच्छा, लेकिन speaking of getting to the movie on time, first experience with the national anthem before a movie?
Never heard this before.
Dude,
never saw this
This
before.
is the thing here, man.
I have never witnessed this before.
तो आप shame भी हो.
अगर आप खड़े नहीं होंगे तो बाकी लोग आपको देखेंगे ये कौन है गद्दार टाइप लोग.
मैं नहीं खड़ा हुआ. I was like, this is so forced.
हर 5-10 साल बाद
तुझे नहीं रहना है, तू नहीं रहना, तुझे क्या मसला है?
हर 5-10 साल बाद some burger intellectual लड़की also writes a think piece on this, either on the internet or on Dawn, कि ये ऐसा क्यों है और ये होना भी नहीं चाहिए और force propaganda और ये वो, all of which is true, but ये बड़े अरसे से issue है. इंडिया में भी है. इंडिया में तो कुछ पड़ गई थी किसी को.
Yes. So when I made, so I first close friends it with my face, and then I mainstreamed it without my face, and a lot of people from India were like, "Oh, this happens in India all the time."
Yeah.
And also 2 minutes of trailers, which was also annoying. I like trailers. I like watching it. मैं गया था मेरी. I was like, I'm gonna watch.
मेरी बात सुन, तेरे कमरे में आके लगा दे मूवी.
यार 10 मिनट के trailers होते हैं ना वहाँ पे तो. I was
हाँ.
waiting for Oppenheimer in the big screen trailer देखने के लिए और Barbie दोनों नहीं थे.
भाई जुलाई में तो बड़ा
अच्छा,
मसला
by
है
the way,
यार.
by the way, ये जिसमें उसमें गए थे, वो सोफे होते हैं, लेजी बॉयज होते हैं.
नहीं I went to the
नॉर्मल वाला.
हाँ.
हम लेजी बॉय वाले में चलेंगे.
लेजी बॉय वाले मजा नहीं आया मुझे. स्क्रीन छोटी थी.
आगे बैठेंगे, सेव हो जाएगा सेट.
प्रोजेक्टर को हम आंखों में डाल देंगे.
लेकिन speaking of that, yeah, you've recently been doing a lot of work with Momina. How's that?
Yeah, it's good.
Interacting with the Gen Z.
It's good. I have finally felt my age. I thought I was young, but no, man. These kids are completely else. Momina is a great hang. We've been talking a lot about books and vibes, and she actually knows like really cool book spots and within Liberty as well. तो वो भी मजे का था. We did like a whole day.
No.
यार ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आती बात.
दुकान के अंदर जो है spots है.
यार नहीं hidden spots.
नजर भाई, please make me understand.
Okay, let's go.
आपको एक पता है कि एक किताब आपको इतनी ख्वारी करके ढूंढने में मिलेगी, शायद ना मिले, आप ऑर्डर करवाएंगे ये वो, और वो किताब आपको 5 सेकंड में ऑनलाइन मिल जाएगी.
ना.
तो क्या है ये मसला?
Okay, personally speaking,
खुशबू आती है.
Physical books superior.
Well, but why? That's what he's asking.
So
that's the question,
I have started annotating books. You can't do that on a Kindle.
नहीं, you can. मैं सिखा दूंगा आपको.
कोई बात नहीं. चलेगा.
Book talker इरफान जनेजो.
जब आप कोई भी चीज सेंड टू किंडल करते हैं ना, वो एनोटेट नहीं हो सकती, वो शेयर भी नहीं हो सकता. लेकिन अगर आप कैलिबर से कोई वो डालते हैं ना, कॉपी पेस्ट करते हैं, अगर वो एनोटेट भी होगी, उसके कोड्स गुडरीड्स पे भी शेयर होंगे, हर चीज होगी.
My point is like I've started annotating books physically with the pen and everything.
Oh,
and with like a
This
is a new thing. Momina told me to do this.
I think this is a thing. So if Momina put like a story of a book and I'm like, underline किया हुआ है, किताब के अंदर लिखा हुआ है इसने. And
I was also very secret about my books.
I've always been writing in books. Always writing in them, lining everything. मेरी आप वो देखो ना, ओरिजिनल वाली कार्ल मार्क्स की या ये वाली किताबें देखो ना. Yes, speaking of, आप लोगों ने
कार्ल मार्क्स में लिखा हुआ है काज़ी, ये झूठ है सब, ये इस्लाम के खिलाफ है.
हाँ, nonsense. You lost. हार गए. But आपने, speaking of these philosophers, आपने उसको सुना है मुज़म्मिल शाह को?
No, nahin.
Muzammil Shah, he's a journalist. He was on all these podcasts.
He's on Bold TV right
now. He's on Bold TV.
Ali bhai feels pranked.
No. Actually,
यार आपको अगर काजी का पॉलिटिकल वर्जन देखना है ना,
नहीं, but that's what I'm saying.
मुजम्मिल
That's what I'm
शाह
saying.
सर्च कीजिएगा।
काजी खुद है।
नहीं, मैं पागल। But you know what? It was so interesting. He was on Junaid Akram's podcast. That podcast went really well. Did a lot of views, all that, and I'm happy for both of them. But a lot of what he was saying, I was like, Muzammil bhai, nahi, because
गलत कह
so
रहे हैं
his main is nahi galat nahi,
or
but
like you differ.
his main assertion, huh?
You differ
You
in
differ.
your
हाँ,
opinions.
I differ. So his main assertion is कि जो जितने भी Western philosophers हैं, वो individualistic हैं, and so in a way they are better. And जितने भी Eastern philosophers हैं, वो collectivists हैं, and that is what is the crux, one of the cruxes of our problem in Pakistan. And I was like, no, you can't. It's again comparing watermelons to apples. You can't. It's not a comparison like that. And also, जितने भी Eastern, Western philosophers हैं, Karl Marx and all those, all of them speak about the individual in the context of the collective, right? It's never as so zahir hai, you're again people like Muzammil are working on such a high level कि obviously they're going to synthesize that information, synthesize करके जब आप किसी और को बताओगे, वो थोड़ी वो किताब उठाएगा, वो थोड़ी बोलेगा अच्छा चलो let's go figure out what Viktor Frankl was really saying.
ये दोनों लोग अगर पॉडकास्ट पे आएंगे ना,
yeah, is that happening?
तो आप सुनोगे नहीं,
वर्सेस इंडिया, मजा है।
आप सुनोगे ही नहीं, आप बोलोगे मैं नहीं सुन रहा। नहीं, I actually got in touch with, and Muzammil's really nice, by the way. In मतलब I've never met in person, but online.
Right.
So I got in touch and I was like, will you do the podcast? He's like, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, it's gonna be.
हाँ, before anything. अभी नहीं, मैंने ये राब्ता किया था बहुत पहले, like साल पहले।
फिर अब तक फिर से अपलोड।
हाँ, मैं देख।
Imagine the inaugurating episode of the new Kazi Akbar show.
नहीं वो
नहीं मेरे साथ होगा।
You know what might be
अच्छा
वो spot booked है।
You know what might be interesting? If you send him points of discussion / disagreement beforehand, and then तुम दोनों ना full पढ़ के आओ, because in the moment ये है ना कि you can only respond to जितना you can recollect. वो भी हो ही जाएगा बात से बात में. But if you guys are like, if he's like अच्छा काजी कोई नहीं, मतलब मैं तो काजी को ये बताऊंगा, and then Kazi's like bro मेरे तो ये 10 मसले हैं मेरे तुम्हारे साथ in your perspective. So that might
you know what Ali bhai, I've been thinking, so I was looking at some of the old podcasts, and I think that will be fantastic because you know मैं full artist हुआ था, फिर वो Van Neistat वाली clip देखी। मैं full artist हुआ था, and I was just like नहीं देखिए इरफान भाई आ रहे हैं, मैं कोई research नहीं करूंगा, मैं सिर्फ कहानी सुनूंगा क्योंकि the conversation is king. But am I showing the guest enough respect कि मैं उनके लिए पढ़ाई करके बैठूं?
Yeah.
See, that's so you're right. I think I should do something of that sort where I'm like पूरी thesis लिख दिया मैंने.
That's crazy to me when Kazi bhai told me that.
I used to send people like questionnaires कि bro ये 10 बातें हमारी होंगी. And I sent it to like ये बेचारे बच्चे थे उस वक्त, शहजाद और मोमिना, and उनकी फट गई ना, like oh shit ये क्या हो रहा है? ये तो कुछ मुश्किल होने वाला है. Then Momina was talking to Shahzad and Shahzad like हाँ भाई अच्छा प्रोफेशनल सीन है ये तो बहुत. And then when I got tired and I'm like मैं अपने पास रख लूंगा.
To me Ali bhai was Kazi bhai was telling me अभी off the cuff he was saying कि यार you know I started the podcast 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, it's been 3 years.
It's been 3 years and एक साल उसमें बंद भी रही है बीच में.
That's insane.
एक साल कुछ महीने बंद भी रही है.
The first episode that I saw of yours was the Irfan Junaid episode. That came out in 2020, right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's
crazy.
It's been a while, man, and alhamdulillah, I think it's been a fantastic ride. और वही जो इरफान भाई बोल रहे थे ना, when you zero in on your problems, you're like, this is bullshit, right? But then when you zoom out, you're like, where else was I going to have these experiences, you know? Because that, alhamdulillah, there are times, especially जैसे ये हालात खराब हुए थे ना, तो I was just like, यार मुझे कनाडा छोड़ के आना ही नहीं चाहिए था. But then even in that vein, I'm just like, यार, but फिर मुझे कहाँ मैं सीखता ये सब चीजें, you know, editing videos, all these things वहाँ सीख जाता, चलो मैं सीख जाता, but not like this. You know, not
इससे बेहतर.
नहीं.
Every now and then when Kazi bhai is having a low moment, I रात को 2-3 बजे I get a voice note. यार नजर यार वो कनाडा का सीन क्या है यार, वो तुमने
I'm just like, आप देखिए ऐसा नहीं होता ना, सही तरीके से कहो ना. It's not even like सलाम वलाम कुछ भी नहीं. I'm just like, यार वो कहाँ काम करती हो तुम?
कब से? This happened last week. He's like, कहाँ काम करते हो? कैसे मैं कर सकता हूँ? Tell me everything. Oh, अच्छा. And then
very open-ended and unquantified questions like, and then something strange like work from home का क्या scene होता है?
And then he was also like, यार मुझे ना 2-3 C stand भी जो ना लेके जाने कनाडा. I was like, यार
क्या सोच रहा
मैं
है? community
देख रहा रात के 2 बजे काजी का वॉइस नोट आया, मैंने ऐसे लेजीली सुन लिया, मैं हिल गया यार. मैंने कहा भाई रिसर्च करो ये बंदे को सामान पहुंचाना.
अच्छा सुनो, तो on a podcast setup कर रहे हो, I think we might be getting to the end of this, I don't know. लेकिन
Sure.
I'm winding all of this down. ठीक है? तो
Okay.
the changes that are happening in TPR 200 onwards is no more weekly looking for a guest wala setup. It's gonna be once a month Chalant hoga, once a month Hamnawa hoga. If you guys can make it happen once a month, it can be this, or this can be every other month.
इंशाल्लाह.
But you need a Zoom setup. अपने घर पे मतलब इरफान किया या whatever जो भी तुम कर रहे हो, तो जरा ये दिमाग में रख लेना. And then
if you're talking to strictly me, I might not be here in the next couple of weeks.
whatever, but like you know how to do a
indefinitely
Zoom.
बोल रहे.
हाँ, you know how to get into.
मेरा setup is on, like Canada में my online setup is पक्का.
Yeah, क्योंकि
I think he was talking to me and Irfan.
Oh my bad.
It's just like तुम लोगों के पास मसले हो जाते हैं यहाँ पे.
Yeah, क्योंकि वो मेरा मसला कि can't have anybody I'm not personally interested in, that has reached the limit of I can't find people I'm interested in anymore. तो बीच में interviews हो गए, Zoom पे तो हो गए, but the in-person interviews will be what is happening only. तो जब मैं पाकिस्तान आया, there's going to be guests, otherwise it's just these 3 groups. बीच में कोई आ गया तो आ गया, but going forward,
this change in format, Levi, is it because you're feeling burnt out after 200?
No, I need to have something that is even more autopilot, and I don't have to search for somebody या फिर मैं उससे बात क्या करनी है, because हमारी बात तो कुछ भी हो सकती है ना, like we didn't plan on anything अभी. Same with Chalant.
This conversation went a lot deeper than I thought it would. If I'm being
हाँ,
honest.
यार, come on.
हाँ,
I mean, हम लोग ज़्यादातर बचोदियाँ कर होते हैं, but this is like, whoa.
Yo, that's
Yeah.
a bad word. पता है?
same.
Is it?
हाँ.
Yeah.
Really?
तुम्हारे अब्बा
क्या
नहीं देखेंगे
बचोदियाँ नहीं वो?
ये वाला, तुम्हारे अब्बा नहीं देखेंगे ये वाली एपिसोड.
नहीं हमारे अम्मा बाप हो गया खत्म उनका शौक.
They're like ये तो छोड़ी.
They're like ठीक है, हो गया, done.
Yeah.
Good boys.
But see, with Chalant, with this Karachi conference, with Hamnawa, I don't need to search for a person to talk to. I don't need to search for content, and then that time will go towards other projects that I want to do. जो कि इस TPR pod के साथ नहीं हो सकते, because मेरे पास time नहीं.
अच्छा अली भाई, एक और चीज I would just like to highlight here, autopilot के in the interest of autopiloting.
Yeah.
There is a guy, I'll share his number with you. He's worked with quite a few podcasters in making their short clips, right?
Achha.
So you can just give him, you don't have to give him anything except the money. He's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
And वो आपको सिर्फ captions वाले reels बना देगा, and as backdated as you want. You can give him your first episode and be like, यहाँ से बनाना शुरू करो, और वो कर देगा आपको. I think that will be good for you, because then वो उसका ये है ना, वो हर चीज के short clip बना देगा, आपको नहीं डालना, आप नहीं डालना. I think that could also be good for you.
We can talk about it. Sure.
Yeah.
But बस ये कर लो, क्योंकि I think इरफान का सेटअप फिर भी, but Kazi, हमने तुम्हारे बिस्तर से भी पॉडकास्ट किया है, हमने मूविंग काजी से भी किया. तो इफ यू हैव अ फिक्स सेटअप, तो उसमें थोड़ा जूम एलिमेंट भी इनकॉर्पोरेट कर लो कि अगर हुआ तो कहाँ बैठोगे, कौन सा माइक कहाँ कनेक्ट होगा.
Yeah, I think Ali bhai, I think I have been your most dynamic guest, literally. I think quite
self-claimed dynamic, by the way.
आप नहीं समझ रहे. Literally एक बार हमने की थी with
other podcasters,
Uzair Yunus and all, right? And I was lying down.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Ali bhai goes, I'm not gonna ask you why you're lying down. I'm like, cool. I'm not gonna tell you. Or Uzair Yunus and the other guy, something Daniel नाम है उसका.
Yeah.
Both of them log on and they're just like, ये लेटा रहेगा, वो लेटा हुआ है बंदा, right? फिर ऐसे ही एक और podcast थी, उसमें मैं गाड़ी में था, एक तीसरी वाली थी, उसमें I'm just walking around.
Yeah.
Bro, this is not a claim anymore. This is facts now.
Yeah.
I think I need to do one from the gym.
Acha, and also Kazi, I think part of why I'm doing this is because I liked the Zoya wali episode and the Zarian wali episode. हमने एक दिन में हंगामा टाइप कर दिया था ना. तो next when I come to Pakistan, I don't know when, we should try and do more of those. क्योंकि अब आप देखें, सामान तो मैंने भी ले लिया. ये खुला नहीं है सामान, but आ गया. So now we have.
Ali bhai, do you have Sony cameras? What do you have?
I have no cameras. I have audio.
Okay, so ये इरफान भाई ऑडियो के हवाले से ना, ये इरफान भाई इंट्रोड्यूस मी टू अ माइक रिसेंटली, थोड़ा प्राइसी है, 80-1,000 रुपए का है, बट
उसके लिए कैमरा चाहिए पूरा.
हाँ उसके लिए कैमरा चाहिए, लेकिन मतलब whatever is happening in audio, अब जो whatever is happening in audio is, I mean that mic can't be
Is it
clipped.
that same mic जो हमने use किया था when we all were at his house?
Yeah.
वही वाला
Oh
है
my,
ना?
yeah,
It
we've seen
can't-
this mic.
It can't be clipped. It can. I'm
It's
like,
crazy.
Irfan bhai actually just gave it to me and he's like, अब आप इसको clip करके दिखा दे.
कौन सा mic है
Clip
Irfan?
क्यों नहीं हो रहा? It's a
वो
shortcut mic.
सोनी का माइक है ECM B10.
अच्छा
It,
वो
mounts onto
electronic
the camera.
हाँ electronic hot shoe
हाँ,
वाला.
और वो clip नहीं कर सकते आप.
अच्छा
मतलब
is
it's
it
the same as 32-bit audio without
Float.
32-bit audio.
अच्छा हाँ
So I think I'm down for those episodes. Those were fun also, na?
Yeah.
Being in his kitchen or being
bro
in
that
his
was
living room is just
nobody's
ridiculous. Yeah,
seen this ever. तो you know कि kitchen में podcast हो रहा है पाकिस्तान में, ये नहीं हुआ. Maybe for a good reason.
अब हो जाएगा.
But yeah, so I think that's the plan going forward. Yeah, क्या ख्याल है? Anything else you guys want to talk about? नजर तुम्हारी नौकरी आज तो नहीं है?
नहीं यार, अल्लाह का शुक्र है तो आज नहीं है.
Okay.
वरना अभी इस टाइम पे I'm logging in.
When are you going back?
No idea. I'm here to pick up my wife, and my wife's paperwork has been stalled for the past 6 weeks.
अब ठीक, अब चल रहा है.
नहीं, अभी भी stalled. No improvement, nothing.
Lawyer Shoyer?
No, it's not. It's like at the tail end of the paperwork.
Yeah.
It's like right at the end. We just need to send our passports. Uska letter bhi aa gaya tha, but because of this, there was a strike as well, which is Canadian immigration on strike. I think you were aware of this.
Yeah.
So uski wajah se things got pushed back. We got the letter to send the passport, but it's the wrong country.
Oh no.
It was in
What?
the US, and she's in Pakistan.
Oh, अच्छा.
Yeah.
She's
No,
back from there.
but that okay, because there's no context here. She does have an address there, so
Yeah,
it's
she
not
was
crazy. Like,
she was living in the US. She moved here when we got Rukhsati in Jan, and then I also updated everything. They've just been extremely lazy, and so we were just waiting for the new letter. जो most likely Islamabad का office होगा, वहाँ पे passport send करना होगा. But we need that approval letter.
Yeah.
उसका wait हो रहा है.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you're there till
So
it's
it could be
done.
tomorrow, could be 3 weeks from now. No idea.
Chalo, okay. How's your Begum handling all of this?
Stressful. It's stressful. It's
Yeah.
that's
मुझे
the
बीच में
word.
ख्याल आया था
That's-
कि भाई देखो इरफान, काजी और मैं, हम तीनों ने ना with our significant others synergies ढूंढ ली हैं with the creative process. ठीक है, scenes भी हो
Yes.
गया है और ARKG merch भी हो गया है और TPR art भी हो गया है. तो अब
Alhamdulillah.
you are also vaguely familiar. Family business.
I have
बहुत
been
जरूरी है.
on my wife's case on this.
Yeah.
I literally said the same thing to
लेकिन
him.
उनकी
हाँ.
education,
It's economics.
हाँ, तो क्या-
Masters,
मतलब वो
sir.
आपको पैसे कमा देगी.
हाँ.
हाँ.
So I'm like, any artistic endeavor, please throw my way.
हाँ.
We
Even
can
if
see what
she
we can
is
monetize.
not interested, होना है involve. Lazim.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. परंपरा भैया भी गए थे.
yeah. Start a podcast with her. Moving to Canada experience.
You know what? I actually have pitched a podcast to her, which is I'll tell you what it is. It's basically, so she's not a movie person. Okay. So it's an
nice.
audio only podcast where we watch
She's a communist.
movies. She's a communist. Where we watch movies and then we just talk about them. So she
Right.
makes me watch her shitty movies, which is like rom-coms,
हाँ.
The Proposal, Catherine Heigl movies from the 2000s. Okay, that's her cinema.
Women are
Okay?
stupid, guys.
I get to make her watch my stupid movies. Like,
Basma watches a lot of
क्या बोल रहे हो?
TV shows, and I watch only YouTube. So ये मैं भी कह दूँगा, bro, just explain
Yeah.
explain a show to me. I'm not gonna watch it. You explain it to me, and I'll
हाँ.
try and like see if I understand. कि, you know, because
Yeah.
Ted Lasso, Succession नहीं देखा, Foundation, ये वो
Ted
सब.
Lasso is good.
Yeah, and people ask me, Ali, तुमने
You know
ये
what?
show देखा है? And I'm
You know
like,
what?
मैं बस
I just
YouTube
finished. I just finished Love Is Blind season 4.
Nice.
ठीक है?
Nice.
And the problem is that I got invested.
That's why you.
I was like, shit.
That's why you get physiotherapy.
Kwame के साथ क्या होगा अब? कॉमेडी में जिस बच्ची को
Oh,
yes
Love is
बोला है,
Blind.
उसके बाद वाली को भी yes
Bro,
बोल दिया।
बच्ची नहीं बोलते ना.
अच्छा बंदी.
हाँ,
Love
हाँ.
is Blind वो ना जो दरवाजे के पीछे होते हैं, they don't see each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can't see each other. They're just dating.
Yeah, but it's what's interesting.
Yo,
They can't-
imagine Kazi bhai on that show, man. Insane.
Maybe, but what's interesting is what's interesting about that show is from the trailers at least
Ah.
they can't see each other, but everyone's good looking.
Everyone's good.
Minute.
Everyone
Everyone's just a straight 9. Like
Yeah, average looking.
everyone has like 17
Yeah.
packs and
Yeah.
all the Botox
Yeah.
and every. I
Yeah.
mean,
नहीं फिर ये भी होता है ना कि once you like match with someone and then you see them, they people say no. Like
नहीं,
what
Yeah.
attracted you.
I think that's
ये
only
होती है
happened
बड़े
once.
बेटी
My friend who watches
Season 4 में तो एक दफा हुआ था.
my friend who watches religiously says it happens, but like it's super rare. Because I think people don't want to
Rare.
be that person
Yeah, it's
ना
rare.
जो कि on camera कह के अबे यार ये तो बदसूरत है.
बाद में बोल देते हैं.
No
यार
one
नहीं
wants
लेकिन
to be
फिर
that.
पता है उसके बाद सीन ये होता है कि once you match they send you to like on a honeymoon basically to like Mexico. वहाँ पे problems होते हैं कि they're like
Yeah.
oh we're not attracted to you, like they're sleeping in other rooms, एक couch पे सो रहा है, so it's obviously like not a thing.
Yeah.
एक
खैर वो
लगा है
नहीं,
टीवी सामने ही है.
but why would they be sleeping in the same bed?
हाँ मतलब ये तो सब
में तो बना
ये तो गलत
allowed
बात
तो
है.
नहीं
ये
है.
तो straight up गलत बात है. मतलब ऐसे थोड़ी होता है.
Exactly,
फाशा
exactly.
ठीक है.
Love is haram
Yeah, yeah.
is the name of the show.
Yeah.
1500.
Yeah. चलो ठीक है.
And everything else is good on your side, Ali bhai, सब chill है.
Yeah,
Okay.
once we stop recording, I tell you a new tension that has entered my life. Nothing serious, but
तो आप कर लो stop recording, आप ही ने on की थी.
हाँ ठीक है ना. खुदाफिज कर लेते हैं.
हमें तो
Anything-
करनी थी podcast.
Anything? These guys.
Please follow me everywhere. M Nazar Sayyed.
I'm Nazar Sayyed.
यार
ठीक है.
आप जो है ना just try and stay whelmed. दुआओं में याद रखें. अल्लाह रहम करेगा.
Yeah. Stay whelmed.
और मुझे कुछ
Whelmed. First time I've heard that.
closing.
Keep whelmed.
I am a new photographer. Just
हाँ.
joined Instagram.
Yeah.
Irfan
Up and coming.
JPEG.
हाँ.
Please follow me.
हाँ ये मैं कोई पता नहीं 6 साल से ये up and coming joke कर रहा हूँ. ये होता रहता है. कुछ होता रहता है. To justify.
It just keeps going.
Yeah. चलें ठीक है. Bye everyone.